Well done, Marcus. It's a bit better than the last time that we were in here, I think. The lowest off, of course, it was the time before that, wasn't it? Yes. But what a fantastic victory. Let's get on to today's game rather than that. It was bounce back ability is a word that we use quite a bit. You wanted something positive to come back to after last week's. You got it.
Yeah. Hey, look, the performance last week wasn't acceptable. Sometimes when you're a good side, your performances are not quite there, and you still have enough to get the result, or nick a draw, or certainly get a win. Last week was nowhere near. Admittedly, it was sucker punches, it was individual errors. Game management was poor. So we had a in-house meeting constructed with the staff and the players. Lots of positives came out of it in terms of what needs to be done or restructured. From my direction to my staff's direction to what they expect of each other from individuals and each department. And we brought out the values that's required. And certainly we highlighted them today. And we wanted to tick as many of them values off as possible, which we did. And there's no surprise that when you do, you get a positive result.
4 changes from last week, all positive. I think Declan's not fit, but
yeah, Declan 10 o'clock this morning texting. He'd been up all night ill. For whatever reason, it happens. So quite comfortable in having Brett and Luke as the
did well, didn't they?
Yeah, they got a lot of experience. We probably didn't play as high as we normally did, which was part of our discussion, so it kind of probably suited. So that they're talking, their experience and know-how certainly come to the fore. Very heavy for them out there. I'm sure tomorrow and Monday they're going to be very stiff and sore. Yeah. But
take a bit of that pitch recover as well, won't it, for New Year's?
Yeah, we ended up making substitutions with that in mind. Of course, 3-0, we were able to do that.
Difficult time of year coming up though, Marcus, now with Christmas and New Year, with the holiday in there as well, the festivities obviously of Christmas Day. You've dealt with it for years, obviously. You know what goes through players' minds, etc. But this time of year can dictate the season.
It's key, and they're semi-professional footballers, so they still have the right to enjoy. All I ask them is the timing of when they enjoy. Back in our day, nightclubs were closed at 2 o'clock. And
yeah, you're right.
And you were staggering home with a kebab. If you couldn't afford the taxi, you were probably home for 3 o'clock, and you were fast asleep. Nowadays, nowadays there's places open to ridiculous hours. There's different types of drink that are more potent, shall we call them. And the recovery is far different. I know when we're younger, your metabolism, it does go through quicker. But I just said to them, they've just got to be sensible, and they've got to respect what we do as a club, how we conduct ourselves, and pick and choose the moments. I expect, like most professional footballers and semi-professional footballers who know they've got to go out and put a shift on Boxing Day, to be the driver for the family, enjoy the festive spirits.
Literally
try and enjoy the Christmas dinner, not too much, but enjoy it, and let Boxing Day and the day after be, probably run it off, run Boxing Day off on the following day. It'd be difficult for us to get them back in over that period of time. You're also worried, a lot of people travelling. We've got a squad that travel a fair distance to come in, so do we benefit from them from an hour and a half journeys to get in to do recovery? So we'll probably put that on them to make sure they're ready for the games. It's I always say to teams at this time of year, because unfortunately I'm always at the top end of tables, is how much they want to be getting promoted at this time of year. If that's what drives them, do they want to be rolling around in April? Well, do they want to roll around like we did against Slough wondering why we didn't make it, and maybe was it something over Christmas that we could have done better. So if it's about promoting, getting promotion, and the want for that, then they'll do the right thing. Some will probably try and get away with it. They do. I know players at the higher level. They do. You know, they're young lads, and
wallet out.
No chance. No chance. I mean, the chairman's been absolutely brilliant. He's bought the lads a drink, for those who are not driving, and he'd give the money to Brett. I don't understand why, because I know exactly where that's gone, and everyone will be looking around for him. So
he'll have gone, will he?
Oh yeah, he'll be long gone. But look, this is a fantastic club, some fantastic people. I love this club. Growing up for whatever reason, you know, even though I'm from not around the county, I do my absolute utmost on and off the field. Probably do a bit more than what managers would do at this kind of level, which can only be backed up by, you know, what the owner or the chairman would say. But you know, we give everything, and I want the players to replicate at times. And times like last week, players didn't do it, and I get brought to task. You know, I get brought to task pretty much every Sunday and Monday. Conversations are easier when you win, obviously. But they're constructive conversations, you know, asking why this happened, that happened, and we look at it. Was it tactical? Was it shape? Was it individual errors? Now, and that's the grey area, because end of October we looked formidable.
We did.
End of November we looked really strong and solid at the back, and now there's the armoury's dented and there's little creaks.
That will have done confidence the world of good, won't it? Performance
today
like
will, yeah.
It's a good side. They were a form team.
They were well, yeah. They got goals and they were winning games, and we looked like what we've done. And ironically, it's not the same back four that got us the clean sheet 2 weeks ago. And that's where my task is really difficult, because the back four that played last week had been was nigh on the back four that played against Aldershot that everyone was like raving about. And yet we only let 2 in against Aldershot, unfortunately, and yet Banbury we let 4. And I'm happy to take criticism, because I criticise myself like pretty much near nigh on every day. Hence why I'm never smiling.
I see smile once.
And I reflect a lot, and I take on constructive criticism. In hindsight, I agree with what people say sometimes in terms of, well, yeah, that's the easy bit when you know what the opposition are doing. Yeah. Like I said, the reports on Banbury wide open, they try and play through the middle. You were there.
That's all right.
Hiding the footballs.
Yeah, from the word go.
From the minute, you know, frustrated us, and okay, that gamesmanship side of it hurt us. But I don't believe players, and I don't believe myself, with what we do for the club and how we conduct ourselves and what we try and achieve on and off the field. I don't think we should be being called clown, donkey, imbecile. I don't think we deserve that.
Exactly.
Criticise me. You can say you don't think I know what I'm doing. That's fine. You can say reasons why, because you think I don't play with wingers. I play with too many forwards. You know, I got ridiculed last week playing 3 up top. Well, I play 3 up top today. Is that
scored 5?
Yeah, is that wrong then? So
well, you got 5
okay, personnel changed, circumstances changed. I get that. That's fine, and I can sit here and say that when we win 5-0, as like people when I lose can criticise me, but I wouldn't stand here and insult the people who criticise me over my decisions.
No.
We had a bit of fun with the crowd back there. Enjoyed it, and if that's going to be part of the motivation, then yeah, carry on with that. Just be careful about insulting.
That's football, though, isn't it? We've seen like in the national news recently of the way that the fans have reacted to certain players and certain individuals. It's unfortunately part and parcel of the game.
But is it? Should it be?
It shouldn't be. No, it shouldn't be.
Social media is fantastic for advertising, news feeds, and getting the word out there. The weakness is give the no man a voice.
Well, exactly. It's always been the way. No.
Social media is now give the no man a voice. 10 years ago, the no man didn't have a voice.
Well, social media was in its infancy then, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this is the point I'm getting at. So now, the person who didn't have a voice
has one.
Yeah, and misuses his voice. Now, okay, admittedly, you don't have to follow, but people retweet or forward on. That's fine, but then it becomes cancerous. It spreads around, and it's not positive, or it's what has this person achieved to be able to have this opinion? What have they done? Would I sit here and criticise the eye surgeon who couldn't flip the lens in my eye on Monday? Should that not have happened? Should I abuse him? Should I insult him? Or do I just respect that he does his absolute best for what he's been educated in?
It's the latter, isn't it?
Can't see now, mine, but I'm joking. No, I just think it's just it at times get out of perspective, and people have their right to their opinion, but you just keep it within your circle. Now it comes out, and unfortunately, it gets into the wrong hands and the wrong people. I'm worried if I'm still managing in 5 to 8 years' time, and my daughters start going on social media, which they're going to, and they read that stuff. Now, people will say, like you said, "Oh, that's part and parcel." Let's get it into perspective. It's level 3 football, part-time. Criticise me for my football management. Criticise me for the wrong selection, the wrong formation, wrong players, wrong tactics when we were 2-0 up. Fine. Don't insult me, because there's people who are close to me then could end up reading that, and that's wrong.
It is wrong.
Don't follow, don't read it. Well, okay. Say my daughter links into Kettering, that then you retweet something. No, you can't help but read it.
No.
And I've seen managers be sacked because of the trolling that goes on. Resigned. And I just don't agree at this level, and possibly the level higher, that it should be brought to task. And, it's up to Richie and Dave and Neil if they want to say, but I'm in. And I don't mean I'm always going to be the manager here. I'm in, and I will work my absolute socks off and do everything I can to help us progress on and off the field, because I love the people involved and I want to make it happen. But there's a few individuals out there who just go over the line a wee bit, and we probably need the other people to self-manage it and help support me. And do you know what? As much as I don't want to, we might end up losing another game this season.
That might be a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, and there might be a couple more, but it's not for the want of trying to win and do the right thing.
Can only lose 6.
Can only lose 6.
And lose 6.
And we're 3 at the minute.
You're 3 then. You can only lose 6. In my book, you can only lose 6. The team that wins it only loses 6.
Loses 6. What's the average on?
2.
Are they really? Mm. And they've played more as well.
3 more.
They've drew more though, haven't they?
Yeah.
So what's your draw? What's your draw stats? So if you can only lose 6, what can you?
I've not done the draw at the moment.
Oh, right. Well,
I'm only doing wins and losers. Losses.
But if you lose an extra 1,
we are less games this year, aren't we? As well.
If you lose that extra 1, but if they lose 1 less, but they drew 3 instead of winning 3, how does that work?
It's like Biggleswade here, isn't it? As well, they've drawn 7.
Yeah.
And although they lost today. And they're 11 points beyond.
Yeah, so how many? I think Starbridge drew far more than us.
Yeah, they've drawn 6,
and we drew 2, 3, 2. Yeah,
but no, it's
you got to do the math on that now.
I have. I've got to
give yourself some homework. So, what's the ratio of draws to the wins that makes the 6 if it goes over the 6? How many did we lose last year?
Lost. Oh, that's a good point. Is it 8?
Was it 8?
Yeah.
What did everyone in the playoffs lose about 8?
Slough.
We didn't draw enough.
No, didn't draw enough games. We won the loss, didn't we? But,
yeah.
But again, it's in our hands, isn't it? 3 games ahead, behind.
Well,
the whole thing is in our hands.
And that's the pressure of every game now. So if them games,
do you feel under more pressure now than when we were points ahead of Stourbridge? When or not? You said to me it's all about chasing, and now we're chasing a little bit.
Yeah, it's if we're going to make the advantage of the games in hand, then when we're playing on the same day, we've got to match, if not better. We can't do it worse.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge.
Today being a prime example, isn't it?
But we've all got to play all each other. So, for instance, if we've done really well today in terms of we're playing a team high in the form, not conceding many, scoring goals, winning games. Whereas, I'm not sure who Stourbridge were playing, but where were they in the form time? So it's the form table that's key. That's not the same Hitchin side we played at the start. See, that certainly is not the Hitchin side that got beat 7 or 8 at
Needham Market.
Yeah. So you look at Stratford now. They're really they've done a fantastic job in what they've done there.
As your Canaries forming, see, they only won one of the first 13 games or so.
Yeah. So and look at Stratford. They're not a team you want to be playing at the minute. They're really
a good time, didn't we?
Yeah, certainly. And they're on song. They've got things tight. They're doing the right things. I watched the Tamworth game. They had 10 men and warranted the win. They wanted it more. And we've gone towards the end of the last game of the season. So would that bode well for us? That means Stourbridge, I don't think they've played them yet.
No.
We've got to play Stratford. Then admittedly it flips that we're going to end up playing some informed teams where Stourbridge have already played them.
We always play an informed team, Hitchin.
So you're blaming the fixture by that?
I'm blaming not blaming anything that goes in our favour,
you've all, and that's having managed at the higher level, that's the big difference when you're lower. You don't always play the same kind of side. Because of change of management and personnel. I mean, Tamworth have just gone, and Tamworth who finding it difficult this year to get a foothold of the league. They've gone and signed the main striker at Stratford,
Mike Taylor.
So that's a loss for Stratford. Admittedly, I know they've brought someone else in, but it's tough for Stratford because they're the right end of the table. You think you're going to try and keep hold of people, but big clubs come in and they do what they do. And now we're going to play against Mike Taylor on the 5th at Tamworth. So it's the point I'm trying to get at is this league, because it's non-contract. People can, once they're not getting in the side or the lure of a better deal or more local, then that can happen. I mean, we're going through a situation where we've got a player who, not everyone knows the location of everyone, and one lad in particular is struggling. So that affects a few things. We're fortunate to have signed three fantastic players who are more local, are coming down the leagues, and the circumstances have suited. That makes a big difference as well in terms of what players you can pull in at what point. Dan Holman wasn't very happy at Aldershot, and it was a case of which club locally knew and could do something about it and help him do what he's trying to do outside football. And what a fantastic player he's been since he's joined us.
He's on 9 goals.
And how many is that in the league? Is that six now?
Yeah.
So he's probably 5 or 6 off Greg Mills. Greg Mills
he's on 18. I think.
Is it 18?
He's got quite a few recently. That's,
okay, so probably a bit out of his reach.
But then Mills has played all season, hasn't he? And
hasn't. So. But
it's about 13 games.
We brought Adam in to help us physical. I think 2 of our goals have come from his physicality today. I think Reece got a lot of joy of that.
Unfortunate today, Cunnington even. Old teeth aren't working.
As another lethal striker, probably just dipping form, or the knock against Lowestoft probably was a little bit more serious than what we thought. So I just thought with these conditions, and Reece is biting at the bit. But Reece would be the first to admit that the last month, when he's been having the opportunity, he hasn't really took it. Today, we've seen the Reece from the start of the season.
Exactly.
And that's what happens over the course of a season. It's the management and the motivation of getting people going. Unfortunately, footballers don't think like that. They think they do the same week in, week out. And if they don't, they'll give you a reason why. And it certainly won't be them. That's the role. That's how they do it. So
find that hard to believe.
But no, this group, they're in it. The meeting they had this week, they're fully focused. They know what they know. We know what we've done wrong. That's all of us, staff included, and great response.
Great response. Thank you, Marcus, for that. No that's fantastic. Have a great Christmas, and we'll see you at Bedworth on Boxing Day. 1 o'clock kickoff. Remember that.
1 o'clock, yes.
1 o'clock
so we'll be there.
We'll be there.
least we know we're going to be frozen.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Marcus, thank you much.
Thank you.